Welcome back to Anime Hour. I'm your host, the Anime Guy, and today we'll be diving into the exciting world of My Hero Academia, and we'll be ranking all the students in Class 1A. But before we get started, keep in mind that these are just personal opinions and not all the rankings are set in stone. So if you feel like a student should be ranked higher or lower, do me a favor and comment down below. But without further delay, let's get started with our D tier list. Starting off in the D tier list, aka the trash tier list. This list will consist of heroes who, in my opinion, are more fun characters and bring comedic relief to the story. Let's start off with everyone's favorite tummy ache. I mean, Yuga Ayoma, aka Navel Laser. His quirk gives him the ability to fire a laser from his stomach, which is extremely situational, and given that he can only use it in a limited number of times before having to rest and recharge, if not, he gets a tummy ache. This easily puts him in the D tier category. Fear not, for Navel Laser is not at the bottom of the list by himself. He's paired alongside the infamous Mineta, aka Grape Brush. He is the quirk Pop-Off, which he grows purple balls on him that look like grapes. These grape-like balls stick to surfaces which can hold objects and even people down. But there are a ton of drawbacks to this quirk. For starters, there is a limited number of quantity he can produce, which overall drains his stamina. The more he uses, the more draining this could be. He even starts to bleed after a while. This puts Grape Brush in the D tier category. The next hero on our D tier list is none other than Koja Koda, aka Anima. His quirk is Anavoice, which allows him to communicate with animals. This quirk comes with a ton of disadvantages. For starters, he can only use this on animals that are in the nearby vicinity. So if the only animals that are nearby are turtles, then he better hope it's the Ninja Turtles. This truly shows the lack of offensive capability of Anima. While others have insane destructive quirks, Anima doesn't. This doesn't even factor in his shyness, which really sets him back a lot, thus putting him in the D tier category. Wait, why can't I see who's next? Oh, that's because her ability is invisibility. See what I did there? Never mind. Our next hero is Toru Hakakure, also known as Invisible Girl. She comes in the D tier category with the quirk Invisibility. Her quirk is simple, invisibility, which has some advantages and disadvantages. For starters, she can easily get the jump on any enemy. Let's not forget that when a mission calls for some reconnaissance, she's your girl for the job. As for fighting skills, to sum it up, you can't hit what you can't see. But her invisibility comes at a cost. She needs to get naked to do so, or wear a special uniform or suit. Plus, in low light situations and dark places, her ability is null and void, ultimately putting her in the D tier category. Moving into our C tier category, we have Hantasero, aka the Cellophane Hero. His quirk is known as Tape, which allows him to dispense tape from his elbows, making him the #1 hero when it comes to office supplies. Just kidding. The tape dispensed from his elbows is strong and stretchable, allowing him to use it like a vine, similar to Tarzan. As you can tell, he is great when it comes to search and rescue missions, since his ability can be used to save multiple people. But he can also use it to restrain the bad guys as he waits for proper authorities. But does this mean he's limited to his team dependency, making him a team player rather than the main star of the team? When it comes to offensive abilities, Sero needs to make way for other heroes to beat up the bad guys so he can restrain them at the end of the fight, thus putting Cellophane Hero in the C tier category. 1 second, if you're liking the video so far, do me a favor and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all my anime videos. Our next hero is every 6-year-old kid. Sugar Rush is the quirk that belongs to Rikido Sato, aka Sugar Man. His quirk allows him to temporarily enhance his strength and speed by consuming sugar. Essentially, he is a man-child. The main takeaway from this is his power is limited, and once the effects wear off, he's essentially useless. But keep in mind that if he can time the consumption of his sugar to those crucial moments, to those big boss fights, he's a huge benefit to himself and his teammates. Lastly, his quirk makes him durable, meaning he can handle more damage in battle, giving him the advantage. For today's video, Sugar Man gets a sugar crash into the C tier category. Our next student can be mistaken for the Mortal Kombat character Goro. We have Mezzo Shoji, aka Tentacle. His quirk is Dupla Arms, which grants him multiple tentacle-like arms. With his multiple arms, he is both a great offensive and defensive support here. With multiple arms, he can perform multiple tasks at once, which is great for rescue operations. But due to the lack of power he can generate, this puts him in the C tier category for today. Jiro, more commonly known as Earphone Jack, is next on the list, and her quirk is Earphone Jack. This allows her to plug into objects and amplify sounds. This is a great offensive attack and even better for reconnaissance. Being able to provide valuable information, especially reconnaissance, to any team is valuable. She can use her earphone jacks to attack opponents with powerful sound blasts, or she can use her quirk to eavesdrop on conversations or detect the location of enemies. For today's video, Earphone Jack lands in the C tier category. Moving into the B tier category, we have a fan favorite. Well, more like Deku's favorite. We have Ochaku Uraka, more commonly known as Uravity. She has the quirk Zero Gravity. This allows her to make anything she touches weightless. She can make herself, teammates, enemies, and even float objects. But she can also help with large-scale evacuation, immobilizations, and aerial support with her partners. But let's not forget that she's very smart when it comes to utilizing her quirk. This is easily demonstrated in the fight with Bakugo, when she was the underdog but used her smarts to almost take him down. This easily puts her in the B tier category. Next on the list, we have Mr. Follow the Rules, Tenya, also known as Ingenium. He has the quirk Engine, which grants him super speed, in which the lower part of his legs turn into engines. Talk about being on point with his engine legs. This gives him the ability to move at incredible speeds, making him fast to execute attacks and even rescue citizens in distress. With his speeds, this enhanced Tenya's ability to deliver devastating kicks and uses speed to create strong whirlwinds. Being the class representative, this shows his strong leadership role coming from a family of heroes. This puts Tenya in the B tier category. We have a fan favorite up next. We have Tsuyu Asui, aka Froppy. She has the quirk Frog. This allows her to have several frog-like abilities, such as the ability to stick to walls, extend her tongue for attacks and rescuing, and let's not forget her great swimming capabilities. With her frog-like abilities, this gives Sue the advantage when it comes to speed, movement, and agility, thus making her a harder target to hit. I've mentioned it several times in this video, but an intelligent student can really take their quirk to another level, and Sue is one of them with her analytical thinking. This puts her in the B tier category. Masahiro Ojiro, aka Tailman, is next on the list. He has the quirk Tail, and you've guessed it, he has a tail. Similar to a monkey, this gives Tailman the ability to perform acrobatic maneuvers, since this provides him enhanced balance and agility. With his tail, he can strike opponents with a powerful tail whip or use it to grapple and restrain them. The same goes for grasping and interacting with objects or surfaces, giving him more mobility options. Throughout the anime, you see Masahiro demonstrate great strength and stamina, which only enhances with his tail ability. Tailman whips his way in the B tier category. The last student in the B tier category is Mina Ashido, aka Pinky. Her quirk is Acid, which allows her to produce and manipulate acid from her body. This includes shooting acid from her hands, which can corrode and dissolve various materials. Aside from her acid abilities, Pinky has impressive agility, which is demonstrated in several fights. One ability we did witness is her covering her entire body with acid, thus giving her a shield of some sorts. Mina Ashido ranks in the B tier category. Momo Yaoyorozu is our first A tier character. She has the quirk Creation, which allows her to create any object from her body. If you wanted one of the most versatile quirks on today's list, this is it. With a quirk like Creation, she needs to be a quick thinker and even fast when it comes to execution. With her ability to analyze situations and create useful objects on the fly, makes her a valuable asset on the battlefield. The reason she didn't rank in S tier was due to her limitations. Momo's quirk has certain limitations. She needs to understand the molecular structure of the object, and the more complicated the object is, the longer it takes to create, thus ranking Momo in the A tier category. Ijiro Kirishima, more commonly known as Red Right, has the quirk Hardening. And for a character that isn't the main character, he has the most significant character development in all of My Hero Academia. His quirk allows him to harden his body like a rock, which makes his skin extremely durable and resistant to physical attacks. This is a great feature, especially when it comes to a blow-to-blow with a very strong enemy. Let's not forget that he can withstand extreme temperatures when he has his quirk active, which is a great option for rescue operations dealing with fire. Red Riot finds a comfortable spot in the A tier category. Our next student is known for his high energy output. His placement will shock you. Okay, all jokes aside, we have Kaminari, aka Charge Bolt. His quirk is electrification. This allows him to discharge electricity from his body. This can be a useful tactic in both offensive and defensive situations. If this was the start of the series, I would have easily ranked him in the D tier category for how many times he short-circuited his brain during battle. But as the series progressed, he learned how to control and understand his limitations. When it comes to taking down a ton of enemies, Kaminari has no problem at all at generating a ton of electrical output to disable all of them. For today, Kaminari climbs into the A tier category. Our final student in the A tier category is none other than Tokiyama. His quirk is Dark Shadow. This allows him to manifest a sentient shadow-like creature from his body. Dark Shadow can be used in both offensive and defensive situations, and his quirk is amplified even more at nighttime, in which Dark Shadow becomes immensely strong. Keep in mind that if Dark Shadow becomes more powerful than Tokiyama, and if Tokiyama loses control of his emotions, this can cause Dark Shadow to lose control overall. If it wasn't for that right there, that little thing right there about losing control, Tokiyama and Dark Shadow would have easily been ranked in the S tier category. But with the limitations and the bright light limitations, this really hinders Tokiyama's slot and puts him in the A tier category. Finally, we made it to the S tier category. These are the best students in class 1A. And there's no better place to start than everyone's K-pop idol, Shoto Todoroki. His quirk is half cold, half hot. This quirk allows him to control and manipulate both fire and ice. This is a quirk combo from both his father, the current #1 hero, Endeavor, and his mother, a wielder of ice. Aside from the prestigious hero family, he has mastered the ability to use both ice and fire to create barriers, immobilize targets, and create powerful attacks. Todoroki's quirk comes in handy often, from search and rescue to all-out battles. Rather than today's ranking, putting him in the S tier category, the bigger question is, what hero rank will Todoroki be in the future? Our next student is the calmest student in class 1A. Alright, who are we kidding here? He's always mad. We have the hothead himself, Bakugo. His quirk is Explosion, which allows him to create and manipulate explosions from his sweat. Bakugo is an exceptional fighter who is driven by his sheer will of not being surpassed by anyone. When it comes to combat skills, his hand-to-hand combat is exceptional. This is easily displayed in the 1v1 against Deku. When it comes to overall movement and mobility, Bakugo is special. He uses his explosiveness to move around at rapid speeds. Out of all the students in class 1A, Bakugo has the best character development, from being Izuku's childhood bully to being the class hothead to sacrificing himself to save Deku. It seems like Bakugo has no limitations to his growth as a character. Ranking Bakugo was fairly easy. If there was an S+ tier, he'd be on that list, but for today, he easily ranks in the S tier category. Our final character is the wielder of the ultimate power, One for All. We have Izuku Midoriya, more commonly known as Deku. Deku inherited the power of One for All from his predecessor All Might. Deku was chosen for multiple reasons. One of the main reasons he was chosen was due to his determination on becoming a hero. Midoriya, being powerless, would run towards danger without regard to his own safety in order to save his childhood bully from danger. After inheriting the powers of All Might, Deku continued to grow and hone his powers, at the same time facing new threats and overcoming each one of those threats over and over. With the powers of All for One combined with his critical thinking and analytical skills, Deku uses his abilities to quickly discover ways to overcome each new foe. Izuku Midoriya was the easiest one to rank on today's list. He's the main character, and if you've heard the opening monologue at all, then you probably have heard this.
This is the story of how I become the world's greatest hero.
This is the main reason Deku ranks in the S tier category. And there you have it, all of the class 1A students ranked in a tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Are there any students in class 1A you'd move up or you'd move down? I would love to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to Anime Hour for more anime videos. If you're looking for more anime content, check out these two videos on screen. The one on the left is the ultimate anime rulebook, and the one on the right is ranking all of the Magic Knight captains from the anime Black Clover. Thank you again for stopping by and watching Anime Hour. Now go out there and go watch some anime.